But today the sky is clear, it's a nice bright day. There is some excitement here. I'm sure there is some anticipation on your side as well with what's happening here today. The weather is good. Thankfully, the temperature is also good. Not too cold, not too warm. But weather is not constant, right?
Yes.
It keeps changing. It rarely is constant. So I would like to start my trainer facilitator is kicking in. So let's do a 1 minute activity if you're all okay. Are you happy? 1 minute?
Yes.
You're sitting with neighbors on your chairs. If you do a 1 minute activity, which is to talk to your neighbor and just describe to them how was your Friday. All of you remember how was your Friday? How was your Friday? The only excellent. The only description is don't bring work into it. Describe it like a weather metaphor. Use the weather terminology when you're talking about it. Is that fine? Just 1 minute. So your neighbor, Ramesh and Lalit, wherever there's lack of neighbor, please find one. Just describe how your Friday was.
Friday was, I could say, our Friday. My Friday was.
What do you do?
Okay, thank you so much.
I'm a serving Major General.
I hope you understand how the Friday was of your
As
neighbor.
organization called the College of Defense Management.
That's
Yeah?
amazing.
How would you?
I'm a
How many of you
management
enjoyed the
consultant. I
conversation?
visited CDM earlier. 2 times, but that's
Most
about
of you
it.
did.
Yeah.
Ah, great, great.
Others, were you surprised with the conversation? Okay, so the point was most of the times when you go into the workplace and say, hi, how are you? You get a very stereotyped response, which is great, okay, doing very well. Sometimes, how are you is also a response. And that really is, when you ask that question, it starts putting pressure on the left hemisphere of the brain, the logical side. And the logical side also controls the right side most of the times. And it's constantly telling you, I don't think this person is serious about what they're asking. So let's just say, very good or great. Or one word answer. And you really don't get to know unless you are really interested to understand what the other person is feeling like. So this was just an example of how you could activate the right hemisphere, which is the creative hemisphere of the brain. Because the creative hemisphere is rarely used, at least nowadays. We are constantly thinking of logic and data and facts and all that stuff. And the creative side is left dormant. And when you give the creative side some work to do, it is really happy because we finally got some work. And it's like the conversations today, in spite of going over 2 minutes, you kept on talking. Because suddenly the right side of the brain has got some work and it's like, I want to describe my Friday. Somebody is here to listen to my Friday. Okay, so creative leadership is not necessarily about painting the wall with post-its for innovation, etc. But just looking at the problem from a very different angle and a different perspective and thinking about it in a different sort of a way which you can perceive and try to solve that. And when I came up with this book, the whole context of creative leadership was the given current technology and the AI and all the stuff that is happening today is mostly taking care of the left side of the brain, which is all the logical stuff. You ask any analysis to be done, BI sort of stuff to be done, data to be crunched, come up with inferences, etc. Extremely good. You don't need to use your brains anymore. To some extent, you need to guide, but ask some nice questions, queries, and you get a lot of data. So, to the extent of coming up with a lot of data or even some recommendations, AI and other platforms that we have today are extremely good. The problem that we always face as leaders is that in spite of getting 2 or 3 good recommendations from the AI equivalent tools, you still feel that there is a gap. There is something which is not getting addressed, something your sixth sense is saying this is not sufficient because probably this has been done in the past. some other company has done it, some other team has done it. Your job is to think creatively and come up with a new way of addressing that problem. So you can tread paths which have not been tread before, new ways to look at things. So AI in a way does connect dots, related dots. Our jobs as leaders is really to look at unrelated dots, sometimes invisible dots. So you have to bring things together, and that's where the creative side gets activated. The idea is to give it more opportunity to think creatively, because if we go with the way things and technology is going ahead, thinking about logic will be taken care. Somebody will do that. But as a leader, I think the responsibility will be more to think creatively and come up with new ways of dealing with a problem or a challenge or a situation. And that's where the book Unlocking Creative Leadership comes in. So this book is organized into two major parts. Technically, one is the creative. I've used it as an acronym, where creative, each of them stands for a certain alphabet or a word, sorry, not alphabet, a word, which is an action for a leader to take for themselves. So there are two parts. One is to take actions for one own self. Other is to build a team and to build an organization which is creative. So the first part, creative, for example, C is looking at curiosity, asking curious questions, trying to get to the depth of things, asking more, finding out more. And similarly, R is about reflection, taking a pause, stepping back, thinking about what you want to really decide, or taking some time versus instantaneously we are under pressure to respond, and so on. So there are, the first acronym creative is all about actions that leaders can take to become creative themselves. And then the second acronym, leadership, is about the roles that leaders play and how you can imbibe creativity in those roles, whether it is a strategist, a visualizer, or a team player, or an influencer, and all those other roles that leaders have. So that's largely the framework of the book. One is to do it for yourself, and that's why the caption there, leading with creativity and building creatively. So that's the twofold objective of the book. And there are also some references to mythology and history, where I think there's a lot of stuff in our mythology and even foreign mythology, which I've quoted in the book, which I found some interesting examples to bring out creativity as well as leadership. So please do buy the book and read the book and distribute the book and share it with people that you think will be benefited. Before I close, I would like to definitely thank quite a few people.